everyone. Today, I have the amazing honor to have another special guest with me here on the show. We have the amazing financial transformation specialist, Robbie Matthews. Robbie, thank you so much for finding time into your busy schedule to come on today on our show and share about your journey and some of your wisdom that you have selected from working with your clients.
Thank you, Alana. I am very honored to be here, and I appreciate you inviting me to speak to your audience.
It is an absolute pleasure. Thanks again. And I'm very sure that I will be learning a lot as well as everyone that will be listening to us. So, Robbie, just give me a brief introduction about yourself so that the audience gets to know you a little bit better.
Okay, well, I've had a long history, so I'm going to keep it short. Basically, I am a global entrepreneur. And what that means is that my clients are all over the world because what I specialize in, which is financial transformation, affects people all over the world. It really doesn't matter what country you live in, what currency, what language you speak. Money issues are the same around the world. Either you don't have enough money, or you have money and you're not doing what you're supposed to do with it, or you have all the money that you need and you're still not doing the right things with it. So it doesn't really matter when it comes to your finances, where you are or your background. There are some basic fundamentals that if you start embodying as part of your everyday life, then at some point you can take your finances to a different level.
Mm-hmm. Such an important topic, financial independence and financial education in general. It is so true that it's universal language. Wherever we are, we have different circumstances, different opportunities. But I think we all need to learn on how to utilize our financial situation so that we can achieve the things we want to do in our life. So you do such important work. I love that. That's really, really amazing. So, Robbie, how did you get into this kind of work?
Well, actually, I started out just a little bit about my background. I'll share with you. I pretty much started out as a teenage mother. I was homeless by the time I was 18. I didn't have an education. I didn't have a job. I had two kids at the ages of 4 and 2. So I'll let you guys do the math on that. And so I had to figure out a way to really take care of my children. And I did not want for us to be a product of my environment. I wanted something better for my children. So I decided to get my high school diploma, which here in the US is called a GED. And then I went to computer school. I was actually watching a commercial on television about computers. I didn't know anything about computers, but it sounded interesting. And they said, you can get get a loan and all that stuff. So I said, okay, good. So now I'm 18. I didn't know any better. So I go to the school and they tell me, well, you have to have a high school diploma. I was like, oh. So I had to go back and get my GED, and then I went back to the school. I got my certificate in computer programming, and I got a job in computers, which back then was just starting. We're talking over 40 years ago, right? So I was able to get a decent job and start making money. Well, growing up, I learned how to spend money very well because I grew up in a family of gamblers. So there was always money around, and I would get money by helping the gamblers. And so I could spend money, I just didn't know how to manage money. And now I have a family, I have money, and I finally got acquainted with this concept called debt. And debt and interest, which of course, I didn't have any financial education. So I had to then again learn how to get myself out of debt. And I was fortunate enough to get another job in a financial services institution that catered to the wealthy. And so there I took advantage of the opportunity to learn financial principles and how to apply those principles into my everyday life. And then from there, I started mentoring coworkers and mentoring people in my community about their finances. And so it just kind of evolved from that. It wasn't my profession. I was a computer technologist, but because people were looking to me for guidance, I had to learn more about managing finances and doing that. So my husband and I, we met. He had his financial troubles, and he had self-educated himself. So together we planned together. Because one thing as a couple, and for my couples out there, whether you're married or cohabitating, is that if you want to become financially successful and financially secure, you must plan together. You must understand the financial goals and you must plan together because a house divided will fall. You can't have one person doing all this spending and sneaking and spending and the other person trying to, save and maintain. So always come together. So Michael and I, we sat down, we got a plan, we got a financial coach, and she helped us, kind of put some clarity around what we were doing because we were doing all we were saving here, but we were spending, we were saving over here, but we were spending over there. Right?
Uh-huh.
You can't,
I know what that's like.
right, right. I save $1, but I spend 10. so that doesn't tend to work out from a long term.
It adds up, doesn't it? It adds up.
Yes. So you have to be mindful about your spending because I hear, one of the things I hear from my clients all the time is, I just don't have money to save. I don't know why I can't save money. And so here's one piece of philosophy that should stick with you. If you have money to spend, you have money to save, you're just not spending it on saving.
Oh, that was big. Hold on. So here goes the wisdom nuggets. So repeat that again, Robin.
If you have money to spend,
Uh-huh.
you have money to you have money to save. You're just not spending it on saving.
Wow, that's profound. That is profound. I need to take a minute to see how to process that down and to see how we can actually apply that. So tell me more. Tell me more about some of your the things that you help your clients with. What are some of the things that hold people back? What are some problems besides? I know you mentioned debt for sure, saving, spending. What are some of the problems that people encounter mostly when it comes to their financial side of things?
Okay. Well, it basically, you have to really kind of back up a minute because oftentimes we try to approach fixing our problems from the bottom up. And you really have to start fixing your problems from the top down, which means from your mindset, right? We all know we shouldn't eat that chocolate bar because it's going to add weight, but we do it anyway, right? Because we don't have a reason not to eat it. But if the doctor told you if you eat that chocolate bar, you're going to die, you're not going to eat that chocolate. Right?
Yeah, if the consequence is so great, absolutely.
Right. So you have to. So the same thing with your finances. You have to have a reason not to go and buy that extra pair of shoes or that extra pocketbook. And the reason has to be based on what your goals are. What do you want your future to look like? So you have to live today and spend today for tomorrow. Because if you don't, then when tomorrow rolls around, you're going to be in the same position. So each day you have to do something today that's going to help your future, right? That means either not buying that thing where you're standing by the extra candy bar while you're standing in the grocery line, or not having a list when you go to the grocery store and sticking to your list, right? Now, one thing I'm going to say, which is probably going to shock people, is I don't advocate budgeting. I don't budget. No, because budget puts a negative connotation in your mindset and you resist a budget. So what I advocate is do a spending plan because we all like to spend.
Yeah, that feels so much better just hearing that.
Right. So you're going to plan. So there's 3 categories of spending. You can write these down. One is you spend to survive, right? You have to have food, you have to have shelter, You have to have clothing, medicine, um, transportation, school fees for your
Mortgage,
children,
rent, a roof over your.
things that you need to survive. And the question you ask yourself is, if I buy this, is it necessary for my survival? If the answer is no, then put it back, right? Because so once you've satisfied your survival needs, then you see how much money do I have left over. Then you go into category number two, which is to thrive. And what thriving means is that to continue life on a more positive journey. So that includes your life insurances, your retirement funding, saving for maybe your kids' college education, things of that nature, right? Those are paying down your debt. Those are your thriving categories of things. So how much do I have left over from survival and to contribute to thriving? The third category is to feel alive. So that's where you go out and buy that designer purse, because now you've got your stuff you need to survive. You've got money saved for retirement or for whatever your goal is. You're saving for your emergency. Your emergency fund also goes in survival. Put emergency fund in survival. That's important. Mm-hmm. And then feel alive is you want to take that vacation. So you want to maybe save for that girls trip, or save for that family vacation, or save for that new car, because then that way you know where you're spending your money. So now when you go to the store and you ask yourself, okay, do I need this to survive? And the answer is no. So now that money that you just saved from not buying that, you can contribute it to your thrive category, right? As long as you're saving for retirement, and then any extra you save in your feel alive category. So it's really, you just ask yourself questions. It's the changing of the mindset, because we all grew up with different cultural impacts, influences, our family. Some parents never shared any financial information with their children because they wanted to protect them, from knowing the family financial problems. But that's the worst thing you can do to your children today.
I agree.
Sit your children down, go through the bills, let them know this is how much money comes into the house. Here are all the bills that's necessary to be paid. So no, we can't get the Xbox or we can't get the Nike shoes, but if you want to get a little side job or part-time job or do something paid, you don't have to pay your children to do anything for you, but say you don't like folding your own clothes. Well, okay, I'll give you X amount of dollars per week or per month to fold my clothes, or things of that nature. Help, or go to the neighbor and help the neighbor and make some extra money. So teach them to become financially independent and work for the things that they want in life, as opposed to sitting back waiting for you to buy them all these expensive things that frankly they don't need. Is really just because they want them, right? So it's important to.
We are encouraging entitlement that way, right?
Exactly.
Then when they get older, they will love to just spend.
Right. Exactly. Teach them how to write a check out. Teach them
yeah.
Right. Teach them how to do it.
I will take that idea from you, because even with my kids, they're a little younger, but I do the budget thing. But now I'm going to change my mindset around that. I love that you said that. I'm going to teach them to do a spending plan.
Yes.
That sounds so much better than a budget. Like, you want a budget for the things they want to buy. If they want to buy an iPhone, or, that's what kids want nowadays, right? Electronics. Then, let's come up with a spending plan. How is it that you could do that? And I love that you laid out all these 3 steps, because for left-handed brains like myself, it's just like a mental check. It's like, okay, survive, thrive. I wrote it down. And also, what is the third?
Feel alive.
Feel alive.
Yes.
I love it. And then you're carrying over the money that you're saving just by doing that mental check. Do I need this? And then you are kind of just, carrying over that money to your other 3 buckets. I see them as buckets, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And, so it starts here. Once you start it here, then you'll start experiencing some extra money, right? And then you start getting into the strategy part the execution part of it. It's like, okay, wow, now I do have some extra money. I've taken care of all my needs. I've put things away, or now I've taken care of my needs, my survival things. Now I want to thrive. So what options do I have? How do I save for retirement? How do I do things of that nature? So, and that's where then again, I work with my clients. I help them with their, set up their 401ks. I help them with their insurance. I help them with their estate planning. Oh, ladies, okay, please, ladies,
Tell me.
anyone listening,
Uh-huh.
please have your will or your living trust done for your family, because it's hard enough when you lose a loved one, right? But if you have no clue as to what to do, what they want, where things are, how much money, what needs to be taken care of, or any of that, and it's just a matter of writing it down. And we as women like to have the last word. I know there's probably some men out there listening to this, but we as women, we like to have the last word. So your last will and testament and your or your living trust gives you the last word.
Mhm.
How how your assets are going to be treated, how your children are going to be treated, how your pets are going to be treated, and how you are going to be treated if you are no longer in a position. And it's not just through if you pass over, it's also if you become in a coma or incapacitated and you can't function for yourself. What do you want to happen to you, right? So I ask people to close their eyes, listen to the sounds of the hospital machines, and then listen to the faint sounds in the background. And you hear voices, and you hear this unfamiliar voice saying, "Well, I'm not sure. What do you want me to do?" And then you hear this familiar voice that says, "Just pull the damn plug." And who is that voice that you don't want that voice to be?
Mhm.
Do you not want to be in control of pulling the plug on that machine? If you don't write it down, it could be somebody you don't want to have that control, right? So it's called estate planning. It doesn't mean you have to have $1 million, multi-million dollar estate. It means you have something of value, which one is yourself and your body, number one value, right?
Mhm.
Value is your children, if you have children. And then number three is your property and your assets. Whatever you have, whether it's a car, whether it's a house, whether it's your grandmother's ring, how do you want those to be distributed if something happens to you? It's not about money, it's about the things that you value. And it would be nice to have money, and that's part of the thrive, is to put things into position so that if something happens to you and you have children or pets, people love their pets.
Yes. Mhm.
Someone will have the resources available to take care of them. Who's going to take care of them? You give them to your sister. Can your sister and her afford them with her kids? You give them to your parents. They're going to be on Social Security or some other maybe government assistance, maybe, or or retire. They're living off their retirement. Can they afford to take care of them? So these are the things. This comes back to the mindset. You know, you have to think about not just today, living for today. You have to live today for tomorrow.
It is so true because most people, and I'm working on doing one right now as you're speaking. So it's funny that you said that about the will and planning. But most people, have the mindset of they don't want to deal with that. It's like I don't want to plan for if that's something that's going to happen. But we have seen with our current situation that for tomorrow it's not promised. So we don't know. So we do have to plan and push ourselves through it, not for ourselves, but for the other people that we need to protect.
That's right, right. And that's back to, like I said, the mindset. You have to change your mindset. You're not planning to die because no one knows when that's going to happen. So you can't plan to die. When your turn comes, unless of course you're terminally ill or something, right? But
Right.
what you're planning is how your children are going to be taken care of if something happens to you. What you're planning is how is your precious little poodle is going to take
Oh,
care of
German Shepherd, I have one.
you.
Yes,
Okay, if something happens to you, what do you want to happen to your little poodle, right? All right. You're planning to make sure there's adequate resources to take care of things if something happens to you. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean you pass on. It means you could be incapacitated, you could be in a car accident. Anything could happen, right? And so we have to get out of that whole mindset. Oh my goodness, I don't want to plan. You can't control that. That whatever is going to happen is going to happen. So you can control what you can, right?
absolutely. Yes,
And
work
change
on
your
your
mindset.
zone of influence, right? That's all
Right.
we can really do. Robbie, I know that a lot of the mindset, sometimes I had to work through a lot of my own money mindset with seeing that lack of money in my family as well. So I
Mhm.
know a lot of people struggle with that as well. What would be some of your tips on mindset on that? That for the longest time, I was very fearful over money, that I could never make enough because I never saw enough of it in my family. So what's your thoughts on this topic?
Okay, yes. I mean, we all feel at some point we never have enough money, and I mean, and to be honest, there are people out there that they just don't have enough money. You know, they're living on a fixed income, or they're in a position where they don't have enough money, and I understand that, and I was in that position, so I'm not speaking from from up here. I'm speaking from I've been there, done that, and I understand it. So and we're we're in this COVID environment, so things are much more challenging. But there are jobs out there. There are things you can do online. So that's back to change. You have to look at what if I can't do what I was doing, what
Mhm.
can I do going forward? There's still people making money, and they're everyday people. There's still people. I just saw an article that the people that were doing some other jobs, they can't do them anymore, so they found new jobs. So it's really just you have to go out there and you have to look. You have to make an effort. You can't accept your status quo. And so I could have accepted my status quo when I was 18 and homeless in the environment that I was living in. I could have done some things differently. I could have went the illegal route or the quick money route or the get rich, get fast money route. But
Mhm.
I planned, and so you have to think about the things that you can do, the things that are in your control. And even when you don't, when you're in the survival mode, when you only have enough money right now to survive, the same principles apply. Is there things that I can cut back on? Is there things that I can do to make that little extra money to put to the side, right? And to learning how to, and I want to say invest. I want you to learn how to save first, because a lot of people, I want to invest in this, but you have to learn how to save first, because if you can't manage $1,000, how are you going to learn to manage $100,000?
So
So first learn to manage the little bit of money you have and keep control of it, know where it's going, know how you're spending it. And so you can put some aside, you save it, and then when you accumulate and get that $1,000, then we can talk about, okay, how do we make that $1,000 grow? Because you found you don't need it, right? You don't need it to survive because you put it to the side. So now you look at how to make it grow. So I know it's difficult, and people are struggling, um, but there's education. The key is education. It's not that people don't want to do better with their money, it's that they're just not educated and they just don't know. They're not lazy, they're not incompetent, they just don't know. Every time I come
very
to a
true.
client, they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that. No one told me that. The
Mhm.
simple thing, so here's another mindset thing I want to share with you. So when you get a job and you paycheck, you have this thing called your withholding, right? How much money the government takes out for you withholding. Well, the mindset, and I hear this so often, this drives me crazy, is that people like to get that big refund at the end of the year, right? That get the money back from Uncle Sam at the end of the year. But what you're doing is giving Uncle Sam, who's not related to you,
And your uncle.
not your uncle, an interest-free loan. They're making money off of your money and then giving it back to you interest free. So wouldn't it make more sense that if you take that, say people get, I had one client that was getting $11,000 back in taxes at the end of the year. I'm saying, excuse me, that's $1,000. I like simple math. That's $1,000 a month. That's a little over $1,000 a month. If you had taken that $11,000, that $1,000 a month, and invested it in a 6, 7, 8% account that would set you up for retirement and protected your assets, you know how much money you would have earned on that money instead of giving it to him, to the program. So people have to stop with this, what I call the old school paradigm, and start thinking new school. Stop giving Uncle Sam interest-free loans at the end of the year. Take that money and put it into an account. Start your little savings. Get your $1,000 to start doing something with. That's one old school. And one more old school paradigm I must share is about retirement, the myth of retirement. I'm going to retire and draw my Social Security or government pension, other people, in other countries, your government. Well, the average Social Security check is $1,500 a month, the average in the United States. So my question is, can you live off of $1,500 a month? The maximum, if you wait until you're like 70 something years old, is about $3,000 a month. So a 70-year-old with $3,000 a month, maybe that's okay, right? But the 70-year-olds that I know, that's not enough. So,
and who's to say that it's going to remain? Right?
Exactly. So the concept of retirement, retirement and Social Security are two different things. So we need to start separating them. Retirement is about money. Social Security or government benefits is about age. If you have enough money to retire today, it doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah.
And when you get to be in the 62, which is the earliest you can get government benefits in the US, then you can take your government benefits, and if you had enough money that you were living off of from the time of your retirement, you can actually give that money to charity. Help somebody else out. Or you can go buy you some shoes.
That is so true. I love what you just shared. That's why I'm listening to you very, very intensely, because a lot of times I hear a lot of people, we grow up with this money is bad, and, people in business, this and that, negative things that we think about. A lot of that is cultural or generational. But I feel like when good people have money and they work on those other buckets, they can contribute more, they can give back more, they can make an impact to the world, and they're not in the survival stage.
Right.
So that's why I love the work you do, because you help people from going to those stages. Maybe you are in the survival stage and a lot of people might be there now, but what is it that we can do by getting clarity to get to those other stages, and how you could start saving money? And also mindset is everything. And I know the importance of that as well, of my own work that I do with my clients, is asking the right questions. How can I make more money? I have skills, I have experience. How can I put that together into, creating an income for myself and solving a problem for someone else? So it's not like it's not available, but we just haven't been taught, correctly. It's like, no, I don't have enough money. I used to hear my parents all the time, I don't have enough, I don't have enough. So I grew up with it, well, we don't have enough money. But if they taught me to think, well, how can I make enough? How can I make money? Then you put your brain to work and problem solve for you.
Exactly.
It makes a whole lot of difference. Everything that I do in my business is about creating, solving problems, and we are creating, I'm sure you can attest to the same thing, we are creating money out of creation and programs and things that haven't been done before or are not there before. Right. So if we ask the right questions, we will get the right answers. Right. So it's a matter of working on our mindset and learning how to utilize our brain in an efficient way so then we get the results that we want. This is not taught in traditional schools as well.
Right.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But what?
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Wealth is created. Wealth is created. It's not earned. So you have to create it. If you want it, it's, unless of course you hit the lottery, then of course, yeah, you get this boatload of money. But guess what? The majority of lottery owners go broke in 5 years because they don't know how to manage the money. And
that's right.
that's the key. They take old habits and apply to new money. And you can't do that. You have to change your mindset first. And then once you start acquiring the money, then you'll know how to keep the money. So you have to keep the money, you have to grow the money, and you have to protect the money.
Keep it, grow it, protect it.
Protect it. Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's very important to do that, and we have to get, like I said, go. We have to do what I call the financial DNA transformation. It has to start internally. And I say, what we do is we help transform your financial DNA by changing how you think, act, and feel about your money. We transform you into a cat.
Into a cat.
Into a cat. C-A-T.
Okay.
Okay, a cat. It stands for having the courage and the commitment to change your financial situation, to say no to the Xbox, to say no to the girls' trip, or say no, not yet. No, not yet. A is taking action. We have to stop dreaming, wishing, and thinking and start doing action and accountability. Having someone to hold you accountable, even if it's just yourself, to hold you accountable, have some goals set. And T, at the end of the day, you have to tell yourself the truth. If you broke, own it. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, own it. But don't get frustrated. Get educated.
Mm, powerful. Thank you so much, Robbie, for all the wisdom, everything that you shared. I took away so many things. I would love to ask you if someone else would like to know more information about how you can help them. Where is it they can find you?
Well, they can reach me through my personal website. They can schedule a call with me. My website is my name, Robbie S as in Sam Matthews, and that's Matthews with one T, ladies, gentlemen. That's ROBBIESMATHEWS 360.com. Robbie S. Matthews 360.com. And just click on the calendar, pick a time, and then we can chat about how I can help you. And then for your audience, Alona, for those here in the U.S., if you reach out to me and you let me know that you heard me on the Alona Show, I will do a free financial needs analysis for you. It's a $500 value, but I will do it for you for free. So at least you'll have an idea or a starting point to when you say I don't have enough money, you'll know what that really means, because you don't have enough money for what?
For what? Exactly. Well, thank you so much. That's an amazing offer. So I hope that our audience will definitely take advantage of that. Just as even if they don't continue anything, it's just a matter of getting the clarity, exactly what you said, where you are now. So once then you have to do something about it. But just a lot of people, sometimes they don't know what they want. It's just a matter of we have to sit down and we have to kind of clarify that in our goals. And the fact that you're offering that, it's really, really amazing. So I hope a lot of people take advantage of that. Thank you so much, Robbie, for your time and your wisdom today. And we have reached the end of our show. We will see you on another show next week with another amazing interviewer. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.